And we are on. We are on.
All right.
This is cool. Let me go here.
We are live on YouTube, it says.
We are. Jessica Segal, good afternoon. How are you doing this beautiful day?
I'm doing really good, Chris. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Let me change all that stuff. It says coaching session, right?
Yeah, day's almost coming to an end, and we've been talking this week about multiple streams of income. And I wrote my article for your newsletter this month on multiple streams of income. And I thought this was a perfect example of, talking to viewers about not being limited by your 9-to-5 job. So, I used to think many years ago that my income was limited by whatever my boss decided to pay me. And it really never occurred to me that I could have all these side hustles or side projects while still working. And, once I quit my 9-to-5 job and started my own business and my own law firm, it really all started to come together that we have the power to control how much income we have if you're willing to work in a creative way. And, the example I use is I probably put in an extra hour a day of creative work time instead of watching TV. And, look, would I love to sit on the couch and watch TV? Sure. But I find that if I can make a couple extra dollars writing an article for, let's say, your newsletter, or being paid to do a consultation, maybe at 7 o'clock at night or 7 in the morning, and I can fit it in, that extra little bit of money helps me control my debt, or, pump up my emergency fund, or put towards retirement, or just pay for fun things. I use the example of, going for ice cream on a Wednesday may not always be in the budget, but when you, what I call, have found money, it allows you to do some of these extra fun things without taking money from your basic living expense pocket. So what we talked about, especially for real estate investors, is it's it's scary to kind of have your income be so random. 1 month you may have a great month, and then there may be no deals or nothing coming in for 1 or 2 months. Or maybe you have a vacancy in one of your units and you don't have that rent coming in, but your mortgage is still due. So what do? And there's so much, we have so much skill already. So the concept is, how do you repurpose the knowledge and skill you already have? And
I love it.
Right? So what do? I already have, so this is what we talked about when we do our masterclass and things like that on LLCs. For my law practice, I already have these forms. I already serve my clients by setting up the LLC, preparing an operating agreement, maybe giving them a lease for their apartment, things like that. But I'm limited to the clients where I am in New York, right? Because I only am licensed to practice in New York. So what did we figure out? We can create generic state templates for people to DIY, and we can sell them to the viewers. Okay, it is not me personally representing someone as a lawyer. It's a document. It's a document that I've reviewed and can tell you that it's perfectly usable for your basic DIY, investor, right?
Yes.
We sell these documents. This is an alternative source of income for you and I. It's not our main source of income. It's not what we use to pay our mortgage or put food on the table, but it's that extra money coming in for when we have a slow month in our, what I call, our main source of income.
Gotcha.
For you get paid to do consulting, or I get paid to do consulting. A landlord will call me up and say, look, I'm dealing with a really difficult client. I think I'm going to be sued. What do you think I should do? And they live out in Iowa, and we agree to a small fee for just a phone call. And I give them some advice, and I save them thousands of dollars from having to either deal with a lawsuit or retain an attorney for a lawsuit.
Nice.
So to me is what I consider another alternative stream of income. So it's random, and you don't know when it's going to come in, but I put myself out there. I let people know this is an extra service I can provide.
Mm-hmm.
I teach one class a semester at the community college. Okay. So again, it's not making me rich, but it's that extra money. The knowledge is already in my head. I'm giving back to the community. And that extra couple $100 is useful for paying off credit card debt, so you're not incurring interest charges. Yes. Or maybe you're putting that as an extra payment towards your mortgage, so you're paying off your mortgage faster. All of these little things that I do are just extra bits and pieces that I kind of pull together to keep paying down debt or paying down mortgages or whatever. And it's not necessarily, it's good if an emergency comes up, but it's not necessarily, I'm not limited in my income from my 9-to-5 job.
I love it.
And I do really creative things. I have no ego. I realize I'm an attorney and people think, oh, you must make so much money. But at the end of the day, life is expensive. You have kids.
Especially up there.
Always something coming up, some school fundraiser, you need new pair of shoes for the school concert, whatever it is. So I'm constantly like, if my son outgrows his bike, I'm selling the one he has in like a Facebook garage sale group to somebody else. And then I take that money and buy the new bike. I don't just throw the bike in the garbage. It's like throwing money away. So I always try and look for how can I take something I already have and either donate it or sell it. So, if I don't like the clothes in my closet, but they're in really good condition, listen, we all outgrow stuff. Maybe it doesn't fit right, or you never really wore it and it was an impulse purchase. You sell it to a consignment shop.
Wow.
Or when I donate clothing to Goodwill or whatever, you get a tax write-off, right? So you can always find another way to make a couple of dollars here or there. And it's no different than I have friends who'll drive for Uber on the weekend. They're professionals, but they just want some quick money, a couple extra bucks here and there. You could sit home watching TV and there's nothing wrong with downtime. I'm not suggesting that you don't have downtime. Or you can use the resources you already have to grow your income potential. I think a lot of people feel like they are stuck at whatever their boss decides to pay them.
Yeah.
And you're only limited by your own belief. That's what I've learned.
Where did you get? Is that something? I love when you talk, Jessica. I feel like it's more of a personal touch to it. Like you already walked in those shoes and you already experienced whatever a topic is that we talk about.
Absolutely. I feel like that's honestly, I think that's why people can relate to me and my clients relate to me, because I do speak from my life experience. I had a job that I loved very much, but it just didn't provide the income that I needed to support my family. And back then, I just didn't know about the side hustle. I wish I knew then that I could go out and do all this extra stuff and still keep that job that I loved. But that passed, right? So it's like I started to network with people who were having a side hustle. I started reading blogs and articles and books on all these business books and how to have a side hustle that brings in extra money, or maybe it's a hobby that you like. Practicing law is extremely stressful. So I try and do things on the side that bring me, joy, but extra money, like writing for you or being on your channel. Like that's fun for me. And I can still provide value to people. Yeah. So yes, I would say over the course of the past 3 years, I've learned so much about entrepreneurship and business, and it really opened my eyes to the possibility of all these different ways to provide for my family without necessarily working 80 hours for a boss. Yeah.
So it's ironic you go from attorney to entrepreneur. I don't know if I know
a lot of attorneys don't think that way. I really approach my law practice from an unusual way. Yes, I provide a service. and I don't have a boss per se anymore, but my boss is more like the community, right? I still have
Everybody's
to
your boss now.
right? Exactly. And so once I realized there's a whole world out there of people that I
They were
can
always
reach,
there.
it was like, oh my God, this light went off. And I was like, there's the possibilities are endless. And, you know,
Wow.
right. And part of that is from watching you, from watching all these other people succeed in that way.
You know, it's weird because I have to remember, every day I tell me this stuff, I'm like, these people have always been out there. They've always been looking for what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know?
I've never been happier. I'll be honest. Like once you figure out that you are limiting yourself, that nobody is limiting your income other than you and your own belief,
my goodness.
mindset, it was like the glass ceiling exploded.
That is so cool.
Yeah, on a personal level, I find much more happiness in my job and my life. Yeah.
So I heard you. Good.
There are plenty of days where I have to force myself to take some downtime. I'm not very good about that.
You're always grinding.
I'm always hustling. I'm always thinking. But so it's very important that you disconnect and have downtime. But all these multiple streams of income that I have coming in help pay for the vacations and the day trips and the things I like to do with my family for downtime.
I want to talk to you where you got that grind from, but I don't want to. I have to let my round-up family members know that I didn't introduce you, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, I'm Chris Haskins. My ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Jessica Segal on Fridays does her attorney time thing.
Yes.
Talk about your grind, but we are working. Jessica and I have told you we would have the LLC masterclass done this week. We did not get it because Google slammed me. They changed the algorithms and the program, the Hangouts. But we are going to offer Jessica's operating agreement in this video description. Jessica, you want to give them a brief description, and it's going to be a discount for today only to tonight. So I want to be a blessing to the people that are watching, loyal supporters that are watching right now. Jessica, give them a quick overview before we get to your grind about the LLC operating agreement document only.
A lot of people, when they're first starting out their business, will go to an online source like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer, one of those things to file your LLC with the state that you live in. And that's great to do it yourself. You don't have to hire an attorney. I always recommend using an attorney though, because they're setting you up properly from the very beginning. But that being said, most people that come to me to fix their LLC that was not set up properly, they're asking me for an agreement.
They're asking for another one?
Yeah, well, they don't have one to begin with. So when you file your LLC online, they don't always send you an operating agreement, or if they send you one, it's something generic and you don't even know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And in order to open a bank account, almost every bank is going to ask to see your operating agreement.
What's the first thing they ask me?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be filed with the state. It's an internal business document. And so there's no necessarily right or wrong way to do it, but you want to have a professional document that follows the limited liability company law of your state so that you can open a bank account and just start your business at the most basic level. So I took my operating agreement that I give to my clients here in New York, and I basically amended it to a generic template that you can use in every state, meaning that it has all the paragraphs that are required to be in there, but we didn't make it specific to New York. Really, you're going to go in, it's a document you can edit, a Word document, you can use it over and over again if you create multiple LLCs. You're going to put in the name, the address, where the service of process should go. There's rules in there about how you do your financing and how you're going to dissolve it if you need to. All the basic statutory provisions are in there. And then you just basically add what state you're in and a signature line for you. And it covers all the basic things that you need to be in there. Again, this is for a single member, just you running your own business. Not, if you have multiple partners, then it becomes more complicated. And I highly recommend an attorney draft that for you. But
I don't even want my viewers doing that stuff, to be honest with you. Just from my perspective, Jessica. Not you. I'm just saying for me, for other private investors.
Yeah, because when you have multiple partners in an LLC, there's risk there for money issues.
Yeah.
But so this operating agreement will get you up and running. And if you don't have one, it's a great tool for your arsenal.
Nice. So Roundup family, Jessica, I literally begged her to allow us, because we don't have the masterclass done. So if you need an operating agreement, I literally talked to a gentleman today. He's like, man, I need an operating agreement. So if you're watching, my friend, the link is below. Just click on it, get your operating agreement. It will go away at midnight because we're still working on trying to get the masterclass together for you. So you already have, and this is a discount, a huge discount. You already have the document when we do the masterclass. So we're still working on that. All right. So your grind, Jessica, where did you get this grind from? I want to know, because everybody's grind is different. I'm presuming it's paired with your why you do it. So,
part of it is just who I am. I've always been a worker bee since I was a little kid. I've been working since I was 16 years old. I've never walked around with my hand out. It's just my personality. I wanted to be able to buy clothes for school. I wanted to be able to put gas in the car that my parents let me borrow. I never expected somebody to give me something without me working for it. I think that's just how I was raised. That's what I saw. My parents have a very strong work ethic, and that's just who I am. So, growing up, and then having responsibility, a parent, having children, I want to provide the best life I can for us. And so that drive to provide for them, provide for myself, makes me, just grind it out. I don't expect anybody to provide anything to me. I believe I have to work for it. I would like to be able to work easier, not harder, which is why I love this online space. And that's where I'm looking to create a multiple stream of income, more evergreen products. I'm looking into creating more and more online products for the DIY small business owner.
Gotcha.
And so that's what I'm working on, and that's just how I live my life.
A lot of people, the grind, I don't know. I mean, it's almost like it intimidates some people, I believe. I put the wrong link in here. Sorry, y'all. I'll put the partnership agreement. Refresh your screen. I think a lot of people are intimidated by the grind. Jessica, is it? You transferred from being full-time attorney, now I see you as an entrepreneur now. I mean,
yes, I really am. I consider myself an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I mean, are you? Go ahead.
I consider myself a creative problem solver with a law degree.
Okay.
Yeah, because cool. I assist people in all different types of businesses, and I'll have to say, I probably work more now, but I work on my own terms for people that I want to work for.
Gotcha.
And it gives me the flexibility to be present for my kids and my family. So my typical day is, I'm up at 5 to take care of myself. I like to work out in the morning. I like to journal. I like to do all that and take my time in the morning. You have to be mom and get kids off to school or camp or whatever it is. I work. And then it doesn't always work, but for most days I try and stop working between 3:30 and 7:30 so that I can get kids to activities, make dinner, all of those things. Wow. And then quite often you'll find me at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night jumping on to write an article or talk to a client, or I'm doing something for myself, like working on a course I'm trying to create or a book I'm trying to write.
Wow.
I try and chip away, but being an entrepreneur gives you the flexibility to pick and choose when you want to work. Yeah. And if I don't want to work, that's okay too.
Now, when did you, I want to ask you about, I heard you say something about you had one boss before and now the whole community is your boss. How did that mindset, I'm the same way. People ask me, how does it feel working for yourself? I'm like, dude, you got the wrong mindset if you think you work for yourself being an entrepreneur.
That's right.
You work for everybody.
That's right. I became very obsessed with podcasts. when I'm driving, when I'm cleaning, when I'm running, whatever it is, like I have my earbuds in, and I started listening to a lot of entrepreneur business podcasts and almost like life coaching podcasts too, around mindset and business mindset. And I started to really pick up on some of those concepts.
No,
and it helped me also figure out who's my ideal client, who am I trying to target. I can't make everybody happy. I don't want to, spread myself too thin. So I have to pick
all things to all people.
Right. I have to at least focus on who my ideal client is, and then I can kind of branch out from there.
Okay, well, that's cool. It's 4:00 already.
I know. But what about you? Do you find that you've always had that mindset, or is that relatively new as well?
That mindset,
the grind and the entrepreneurial mindset.
Well, you got two things. Okay, the grind. Let's talk about the grind, and then the concept that I work for everybody. The grind I've had since a kid. I don't know why. It was I remember I had a guy went to school with Calvin. He used to carry this big old wad of money. I'm like, I want to give me a wad of money one day.
Right.
So I was always a salesman. I used to sell newspapers around there. Chocolate, that was my thing. I love to. To this day, I do door knocking with my daughters around my neighborhood. I know all the neighbors, in my neighborhood. But I didn't understand that concept of, everybody's like, I want to be my own boss. I'm like, it's not what it's backwards. It's like you work for everybody. It's like your tenants, you work for your lenders, you work for the people that your contractors because you have to pay them. We work for everybody outside, and there's like your last. But we have to take care of ourselves. But with nothing but, to me, I'm like, I wake up every day. I'm like, who am I serving today? Because you're not going to blow up until you start serving. In my opinion.
Yes, I agree. I feel like the more value that I can provide, the more I will be rewarded. Rewarded. I mean, I always with people in my community or other small business owners, they may retain me to do one particular task, and I always over provide. If I can give them something else extra that I know they need, that's easy for me to talk to them about or explain or give them some bit of advice, I always try and do that.
Yeah.
And I do believe that providing that type of value, then they'll refer somebody else to me.
Oh yeah. We're doing more, Napoleon Hill said that's one of the things, doing more than what's expected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, it's 10 after 4. Let me see. Round That Family, if you have any questions for attorney Jessica Segal, please drop them in the drop down bar here.
Yeah.
And don't forget, get your LLC operating agreement. I promise you it's going to go away at midnight tonight. So
and we'll do the master class. I want to go over with you why you need the operating agreement, how to prevent liability claims. It's really important that you follow some basic record keeping so that you don't lose that liability protection. So we'll go over all that in the master class. And then obviously, if anybody needs consulting, my email is provided through your
I'll put it in there.
stuff, and they can always email me and we can set up a phone call.
Yeah, Round Up Family, the lady charges $1,000 to set this up, and you're getting it for you're getting it for an unbelievable price there. So, all right. Okay, I don't see any questions, Jessica, so I guess that's it for today.
Okay. Well, you have a great weekend.
Yep. I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one. Take care.
Right, bye. How do we do this? I don't even know how to end the thing. I'm still working on how to end it. Stupid.
You got to leave the meeting.
Let me see. Oh, there it is. Round Up Family, thank you for your time. Don't forget, I'm out here working for you. So I convinced an attorney that does asset planning, asset protection, estate planning to lower price to offer you these documents. If you don't have an LLC operating agreement, go ahead and get one. This is the link below. Okay, subscribe to my channel, like this content, and please let us know if you have my own LLC. Chris, do I have my own LLC? Absolutely. I have Jeremiah. I do have an LLC. Matter of fact, working with Jessica now. So My LLC is intertwined with the land trust. You gotta have them both, my friend. I'm not familiar with New Jersey. I'm sure Jessica is. She's based in New York. So, okay, that's all we got. Round up, family. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Get your LLC docs.